What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today we're watching Mr. Jev's Modern Warfare 4 is leaking again video. So we're going to take a look at this, see what he has to say about it, give some of our own thoughts and opinions.
What's going on, guys? It's Jeff back here over on some more Black Ops 3. My last video I was just making some progress, talking about some stuff. I opened some supply drops. Oh, also speaking of that, I got this weird notification. I didn't have it recorded or whatever when I opened this, but I got this weird notification. There was a pop-up that basically said to enjoy all of my free keys. Yeah, somebody sent me 110,000 keys. Thanks, I guess. So over the past couple days, there's been a few more leaks and rumors going around. We had already kind of gotten these leaks before whenever we were talking about it, because these games have been like leaking. Multiple games leaked like years in advance for the past few years. Like we pretty much had an idea, and all of the leaks pretty much hit on the spot in terms of like the general location and feel and the way it's described and stuff like that. Obviously the full game, when it gets out there, there's a lot of details and stuff that can change over time. Leaks are leaks, everything with a grain of salt, all that stuff. So some of the leaks could be true, some of them could be false, some of them could have been true at one point and then changed at some point. I already had my general opinion of the way that I thought that they would end up approaching the new Call of Duty. They had a horrible year in Black Ops 7, right? Black Ops 6 kind of had like this reputation that was kind of in the middle somewhere. It was a bit odd. People heard that, you know, Black Ops 7 was coming right after Black Ops 6. By the time that they had heard about that, they were already like, I'm kind of not fucking with that game. So when they heard about Black Ops 7, it was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna play this. I don't need to buy this. And a lot of people straight up did not buy it.
Yeah, so I'm one of those people that did not buy Black Ops 7. After Black Ops 6, like, I knew that nothing was going to be different, and I knew it was kind of getting more into the futuristic sort of thing, and I wasn't digging it. I haven't been a fan of games like that for some time. Me personally, I'm just mainly a Warzone player, so all I cared about was what was coming to Warzone. And now we've got the wall jumping and the grapple guns, which grapple guns I think are cool. I think they're a good addition, but I think they should be kind of limited time. I don't think they should be in the game just permanently. I think it's one of those that's kind of like a fun, haha, here you can use this, and then we take it away for a little bit. Just because it is kind of overpowered.
Pay attention to Call of Duty, but people aren't really playing Call of Duty right now. I had the feeling that MW4 was going to end up going back to that whole like MW19 approach, considered like quote ultra realistic in terms of its presentation anyway.
I think best case scenario, Modern Warfare 4 could be a copy and paste of Modern Warfare 3, and I would be extremely happy with that. Now there's been, of course, the talks about all the visual recoil and stuff coming back, maybe some slower movement. I'm cool with getting rid of the Omni movement. I don't like it. And I'm a movement kind of guy, but to me, it's kind of too much at this point. I think we've gotten kind of tipped over the edge on the arcade kind of feeling. And I'm not saying that I want a milsim, but I do want this kind of smoother, not so like this direction, and everything feels like almost like start and stop. And I like a smooth kind of clicky feeling, but not what we have right now. I think it's just kind of gross. I don't like the slides. I don't like how you can't cancel your slide. And I think we're going to get into talking about that.
Why is this even working? They're going to reach back into that whole bag and, you know, probably make some sort of clean house 2.0 kind of mission. I wouldn't be surprised if they just copied it literally bar for bar. My assumption was that they were going to go down that route, and then like the gameplay design could be, you know, better or worse. I don't think that they'll have like all this crazy over the top movement. Apparently, tac sprint is back. Personally, I kind of enjoyed not having tac sprint in the game. It's not like a make or break for me, but it's rumored that tac sprint is back. I highly doubt they'll go back to MW19's movement, but I also highly doubt they'll go back to like MW2's movement, which I feel like most people collectively did not like, even though they...
Yeah, I feel like if they went back to MW2's movement, it would just be a complete flop again. I don't know why they would purposely nerf their own game that way, but I mean, Call of Duty again came out with that game to begin with right after Modern Warfare 2019, Cold War, and then we had Vanguard, which all of those were their own game, but everything tied into Warzone is kind of where the comparison comes from. So all the movement and everything that we had in Modern Warfare 2019 to Modern Warfare 2. Even Vanguard wasn't a horrible game.
Still kept the slide in there. The slide came out like really slow. It was very sluggish. Just kind of felt bad. Now, MW2 popped off. Don't get me wrong. It did really, really well. But I don't ever think that it's a good idea to introduce like mechanics into the game that feel noticeably worse and more sluggish than the previous games, especially when people are playing them year over year. Also, people did complain about it a good amount. They did change it multiple times. They tried to make it a little bit more responsive, a little bit faster, just to kind of make the game feel a little bit better and less sluggish and sloppy. And
yeah, even towards the end of Modern Warfare 2's timeline, it never felt great. I mean, the game was kind of trash the whole time. They finally let you sprint and plate. They finally let you reload a little bit quicker. But all in all, the game was awful. Don't get me wrong, I had some pretty fun times playing the multiplayer a little bit. I think the camo grind was one of the easiest that had ever come out on any Call of Duty. You could level up guns like that. Like, it took nothing to level guns up and do the camo grind. But
even after all of those changes, it's better than it was, but it's still just not good, you know? You never really want the controls to feel sluggish and bad. So I don't think that they're gonna go so responsive that it's like MW19, and it's not so slow and sluggish like MW2.
Again, Modern Warfare 3, best Warzone ever. I think one of the best multiplayers we've had in quite a long time. I played that multiplayer back and forth, switching between Warzone and multiplayer because I enjoyed the multiplayer. I hadn't done that since Modern Warfare 2019. That was the only game that I would switch back and forth to go play Search, and then I would go play Resurgence or, Big Map. And then I started doing that again with Modern Warfare 3 because the game was so good. Like, I was having so much fun with my friends. And then we had Black Ops 6, Omni Movement, all this stuff, but it just changed completely. Like, it was just a brand new system all over again.
I'm imagining it's something like MW3, maybe a tiny bit step down, like somewhere between MW2 and MW3. Whatever that looks like or means is whatever, but anyway, a part of those rumors as well is, it says here, MW4 is MW2 just a bit better. Obviously, we're talking about MW2 2022. And really, MW2 just a bit better is basically MW3, is it not? I mean, I would argue that MW3 is miles better than MW2, but I need one more headshot and then figure out the rest of these. MW4 movement doesn't resemble MW 2019. It's more like MW3, but worse, which is like MW2. So I'm trying to figure out what they're saying. That's the rumor, that the movement itself is somehow, it's not as bad as MW2, but somehow not. I was under the impression that MW3 felt good to most people. No?
I think MW3 had the most evened out movement system because if you learned how to use it, you could do all sorts of crazy movement. It was super fast. Stims were good again. And then what we have now is everyone can just sprint as fast as they want, whatever direction. And I think it kind of took away from the skill gap. A lot of people argued that Omni movement created a bigger skill gap. I would say that it did the inverse because now everybody can just, do whatever they want.
Yeah, MW3 had its issues, but the movement felt pretty good to me. I was also thinking that it was a possibility that they would just remove a lot of this movement stuff in general. They would like super ground everything and go like super hard into the realism. That said, that's a really big risk for them. It would make a lot more sense if they're trying to recover from a really bad year, that they go with a more safe option just to get their footing back, then try to pop off with something new. Not that they won't try anything brand new with this game or anything like that. It's obviously going to be a brand new game, but again, Call of Duty's Call of Duty. I saw some people saying that like if they hit the movement overall, from the sounds of it, I mean, it doesn't seem like they're going to be hitting the movement too bad. They were saying bring back strafe speeds and shit. I am astonished every time I see somebody in prone on this game. Overall, do I have hope for MW4? I mean, it depends what hope is. Like, do I think like it's a game that'll last like the whole year or something like that? I don't know. I'm still unsure of how much damage was actually done to the series. Lag? What the fuck?
Just forgot about that little disconnect.
What the fuck? I mean, I don't like getting flashbanged as much as the next guy, but this guy is the only one. He didn't even play. I think he pulled host and then like ended the server or some shit. That's what it looks like. You just end the game whenever you want. Yeah, I mean, you deal with random shit like that, which is whatever. Expected when you play an old game like this. I can't believe they got rid of that mode. You got 2 party modes in here. To me, it doesn't really make that much sense for them to be making basically from the sounds of it, a worse version of MW3. As far as multiplayer goes, I thought MW3 was pretty good. Lots of content, lots of like meaningful content every single week, like locking these like operator mods and shit like that behind weekly challenges and unlocks and stuff like that. I think that that's...
Yes, Modern Warfare 3 had so much content its whole lifespan too. Like it was just one thing after another. Sledgehammer stayed on top of updating that game. It was like we never had a meta gun for way too long. Don't get me wrong, we had some intense metas on there, like some pretty insane metas. Like, do you remember the Moore sniper? You could shoot through whatever building you wanted to with certain, like, trust me, there were some overpowered guns, but nothing stayed too overpowered for too long. And that was one of those games too that you could get away with using whatever gun you wanted to. I can go back through all of my footage, and I'm an above average player, kind of by far, but I could use whatever guns I wanted to almost any time and just still drop 20s, 30s, whatever, and have a great time on Rebirth Island.
Really good. Wait, this is the same level. Maybe that guy didn't hit that whole game off. To me, it sounds like they're playing it super safe, and a lot of it will be predicated on like the overall presentation of the game. Basically, the game will look so good that it will draw people in. Like, ooh, Call of Duty's back. No more of this like crazy supersized monster villain guy, into like a more grounded thing, and they can take it a little bit more seriously. But a lot of people, whenever they're playing Call of Duty, don't really engage with the mechanics in the way that the community is like breaking it down and saying all the shit that they do and don't like the casual player isn't really thinking about like the movement overall. They feel it, they experience the movement, but it's not something that they're gonna be like thinking about all the time as like a make or break. Even if you're somebody that sits around on Twitter all day even complaining about like movement players and shit like that, and you want like a slower, more deliberate game, you're still part of like a smaller group of people that don't even engage with the game like that. Like a lot of people just don't give a fuck about the mechanics in the game. So a worse MW3. I mean, that's what I thought of MW2, but yeah, sure. So being better than MW2 but worse than MW3, where does that really leave me in terms of my hype level?
I think if you're saying a little bit worse than MW3, a little bit better than MW2, I would say that puts you right back at Modern Warfare 2019. Now, I hope they bring all the colors and how everything, just the overall look of MW 2019 with the movement of Modern Warfare 3. I think, you know, now that we have floating loot again, as long as they keep that for Warzone, I think if they bring over that color palette, restore all the color to all the maps, and not make it this weird concoction of just cartoon everything, I think that could be a really good game.
Only based on like the movements though. I don't really know like what's going on with the perk system and stuff like that. MW2 was the one where you had to earn your perks, right? Why did they think that was a good idea? Someone asked, what do they mean in this context about worse? Is it like bad sprint and slide to fire times, or attack sprint, slower mantling, slower sliding? Okay, so sliding is still there. Attack sprinting is still there, but the slide is slower. Do they mean slower in terms of its speed or slower in terms of like the overall responsiveness? So then when we think about a game that has slower mantles and stuff like that, then you think about, okay, well, what is the map design? Does it really matter if my mantle is slower? How often will the map require me to mantle, or at the very least push me to do all of that mantling and stuff? Does the game push me to do it? Does the general map design want me to do all that mantling, or is it just gonna punish me for doing so? I even saw some other people saying that like, oh, they should drop MW4 with a remaster to try to compete with GTA 6. No matter what they do, no game is fucking with GTA 6, man. I'm telling, no matter what they do, they could drop the MW2 remastered multiplayer that was supposedly a thing, and I really don't think that that would help. Usually they end up like bundling the remasters and stuff like that on years that they expect to be down years, but they already like took basically their worst year right on the chin already. So it's yeah, I don't think that they're gonna end up doing some sort of like remaster drop with this, whether it's a multiplayer campaign or whatever. I don't think a campaign would move the needle whatsoever for people considering buying, and I don't think that they'll ever do like an MWR kind of situation.
A lot of people still care about the campaigns, and don't get me wrong, I think that has its place, but I haven't played a Call of Duty campaign in years. I started playing MW2's campaign a little bit. I did play Modern Warfare 2019's, I think almost all the way through, but dude, I have no interest. I play Call of Duty for multiplayer, and I play Call of Duty for Warzone. So like, to me, I don't even care if there's a good campaign or not. I don't care about a co-op campaign. What I care about, truthfully, is how good Warzone's going to be, and if Search and Destroy is going to be good. Because that's all I play. I'm just that's it. That's what keeps my ADHD brain going personally. And I think that's why a lot of people play Call of Duty to begin with. It's easy to plug in and play.
Again, where they'll have two multiplayers side by side like that. I just don't see it happening. Yeah, anyway, let me know what you think.
If you guys enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you want to see next. Are you excited for Modern Warfare 4? I'm kind of hyped up. I think everybody's been talking about it essentially since Black Ops 7 came out. Like, we've just been talking about the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. right after MW3. Like Black Ops 6 was a kind of a flop in my opinion as far as Warzone goes. I think they changed it way too much. Don't get me wrong, they added quite a few things that everybody wanted, floating loot, some speed, but at the same time, I remember they nerfed the speed of the game when Verdansk came out, so we're actually quite a bit slower than we ever have been. And I miss MW3. I think that game was like peak of all peak. As far as Warzone goes and as far as multiplayer goes, like at least in the last several years that we've had as an option to play. So I really, really hope that they make some good decisions coming out with this new game later this year. And I will for sure be on it because I'm a Modern Warfare kind of guy, I guess. But anyways, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Adios.